This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast, episode 26. Today, we're broadcasting from the road. Last weekend, we traveled to the Bitcoin in the Beltway conference in Washington, D.C., and had an amazing time. This week's show was recorded in two parts, once on the way to the conference and once on the way home. We'll first talk about what we expected the conference to be like. Then in the second half of the show, we'll chat about what it was really like. We also got plenty of exciting interviews while we were there, and we'll be releasing those separately from our regularly scheduled episodes. Your hosts today are Tim Baker, John Stuart, and myself, Daniel Brown. The road was a bit noisy, as you'll soon see, but hopefully you'll still enjoy our conversation. Here we go. Hey everybody, we just wanted to say hello from the road. We are on our way right now to the Bitcoin in the Beltway conference. It's Daniel Brown here, and I'm here with Tim. Hello. And John. Hey. We just thought we'd give you a little bit of an update, tell you what's going on. We're probably going to include this as part of an episode coming up. I don't know, we'll just have some fun and see what we feel like talking about. We might mention some speakers and what we are excited about, what we expect. And then when we're done, we can record another one of these on the way home and say how everything went wrong and how awful we were. So
Jeffrey Tucker didn't want to talk to us.
Yeah, Jeffrey Tucker's probably going to turn us down once he sees what Tim looks like. So
okay, I'm sorry.
Well, hey, before we get into that stuff, we want to thank our amazing sponsors again. We are extremely grateful. Now, considering how much Tim eats, we might not actually,
I brought my own food.
We might need to go back to our sponsors and ask for some more money.
John's in the back eating a sandwich of pancakes and beef, so I don't care.
Yeah, and that was from home.
Yeah, and I brought my stuff from home.
Anyway, our sponsors, we seriously are grateful.
Yes, thank you very much.
APIcoin.io. We mentioned them a little bit before, but it's an API for Bitcoin. They can run the blockchain for you, and you request information from them just like an API. They're a robust, scalable, and secure API. They're the first API to implement verification for proof of assets, and that's pretty cool. That's something we really like to see in the Bitcoin world. If you can prove that you own your money, like with Mt. Gox, it would have been nice if they could prove what money they had or didn't have and things like that, so that's important. And they don't hold any user funds or request private keys. Now that's important too. That's just more security. You don't have to trust them with any money or send them your private keys or anything like that, so that's pretty cool. So that's APIcoin.io, and we hope you'll check them out. We also have Monero, which is a really awesome, a new cryptocurrency that's starting to emerge. The main thing is that it's a whole lot more anonymous than Bitcoin, and that's, if you've listened to us before, we really support anonymity, and we want that to grow all around in the Bitcoin world. They're a privacy-centric coin, and they use the new CryptoNote protocol, which is a really awesome protocol in itself. Some of the features of Monero are untraceable payments, unlinkable transactions, blockchain analysis resistance, and adaptive parameters. Yeah, we hope you'll check that out too. It's monero.cc, where they have a really good forum thread as well, which has all kinds of details about exchanges or mining pools and things like that. And that's actually one of the cool things I found is right now, graphics cards and CPUs are pretty much equal at mining. So I've been mining a little bit, And that's pretty cool. And it's doubled in value over the past week or so. It's gone from about 2-point-something millibits up to 5-point-something millibits. So it is gaining some traction, and that's pretty sweet. So that's monero.cc if you want to look that up. We definitely encourage you to do that. Anyway, should we talk about some of the speakers that we're excited to meet?
Yeah, or just hear them talk. I guess I'll go first then, because you're already pointing it towards me. But I'm pretty excited to hear Christoph Atlas's talk about the Silk Road. Why it's called "Why We Shouldn't Fear the Silk Road" or something like that. I agree with him pretty much already, but I'd like to hear what he says. Andreas Antonopoulos' speech is supposed to be pretty. I think I saw a tweet from Atlas about it being controversial, so I don't really remember exactly what it's about, but I'm always happy to hear Antonopoulos talk.
I'm looking right now. It says the title of Antonopoulos' talk is "The Future of Cryptocurrency." Maybe he has more than one talk that I'm not seeing, but yeah, I think I do remember seeing people tweeting how it's going to be an interesting talk, so that'll be pretty cool. And just in general, Antonopoulos is an amazing speaker, an amazing person in the Bitcoin world. So yeah, of course we're excited to hear from him. I don't know if we've mentioned this in any previous episodes, but we are hoping to interview Jeffrey Tucker and Jason King at the minimum. We already have some loose plans to interview them, but of course we would love to meet some other people. And
yeah, I'd be excited to see Berwick, even just to see him talk. But
yeah,
him would be awesome.
What is this about again?
Yeah, I was just saying, the title is Bitcoin, the bullet that will destroy the District of Criminals. That's pretty interesting. I mean, obviously we haven't heard the talk yet, so I don't know exactly what it's about, but it's funny that he says it will destroy the District of Criminals. I get it, that's DC. Yeah, he's a huge anarchist, and that'll be really cool to see how he thinks that it could actually destroy the District of Criminals.
And I don't really know what his talk is about, but I'm kind of excited to see Cody Wilson talk. But it just sounded like on their last thing I saw, it was like that's something about a fireside chat style or something. It might be completely wrong.
Yeah, I saw a couple things about fireside chats, which my guess is they would be kind of more open discussions and just kind of talk about whatever and maybe stuff like that. One thing worth mentioning is Charlie Shrem. He was on Twitter recently saying that last minute he realized that he couldn't really make it to the conference because he's on house arrest, so that was interesting.
Damping on your plans.
Yeah, I know, I hate being on house arrest. It's interesting though, because I knew he had gone through that legal stuff and he was kind of going through some trials or whatever, but he said that it was last minute that all this happened, so I don't know, what did he, did something new actually happen, or did he just finally realize that he couldn't actually leave?
Where is he?
Where is he now?
No, yeah, where is his house? Does he live in California?
Good question. Let's look it up.
Oh, maybe he was just thinking that, because I don't know about house arrest, but maybe he thought that somehow or maybe they had already given him kind of like a pass, and then just recently they revoked it or something. Okay.
Yeah, that's possible.
Run through a speed zone, folks. We can slow down or something. I feel like paying extra tickets now. We should have had them ask, questions. See if, people would give comments for, what questions they want to ask.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they could have tweeted us or something.
You can put that on Twitter now.
Yeah, actually, I will. I'll put that on Twitter, which I guess it won't help by the time you guys are listening to this, but we'll post on Twitter, and maybe some of your questions will be answered by some pretty cool people. Also, we aren't completely sure when this might become available. Maybe it'll be in the same episode that this is airing in. but we are working on a pretty fun Bitcoin song with John Stuart. He's a musician, and he's written and recorded all of the music that you've ever heard in our show. And we're just, doing a fun Bitcoin song. So maybe it'll be in this same episode. You'll see. We'll see. And that'll be pretty cool. But we're excited for that. We're hoping to play it a couple times at the conference just for fun to see what people think. So that'll be cool.
I kind of want to hear Jason King, too. I think his was about... Well, I don't know what his is about.
Yeah, Jason King is kind of in charge of... I think he's co-chairing the whole conference, so that's pretty cool. And he recently ran across America, too, to kind of support charity, and that's something we'll want to ask him about, how that went and everything. I don't know exactly what his route was, but I would imagine it was over 1,000 miles or something like that. Just for fun, we could just tell how our trip has gone. So far, the most exciting part of the trip is when Tim had no idea how to use cruise control. So I don't think he even knows what cruise control is.
I'm figuring it out now. No one else on the turnpike seemed to know how to use it either, so I don't feel too bad.
My cruise control is a sturdy angle.
Oh, that's why it ends up being like 100 most of the time when you're tailing people down a hill.
Tim, I've never...
I was in the car when you did that.
It wasn't me.
Oh, okay. It was Daniel Smith in the backseat.
Yeah, probably. I'm also executing a Bitcoin trade as we speak. That's pretty fun.
We tried playing a role-playing game on Daniel's phone, but it didn't work out as well.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. I tried to put on a blood-encrusted helmet, and it said, that's not a location where you can wear that. I'm like, what is this? Apparently you... Well, see, I didn't specify. See, that's the thing. I didn't realize you had to specify L finger, R finger, neck 1, neck 2, feet.
Neck 2?
Yeah. Everybody in that game, I guess, has 2 necks. Or maybe it's just the orcs. We were an orc. So...
No, you're not passing.
I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. The lady from Anti-War probably has something pretty good. I don't remember her name, though. The head of antiwar.com. Oh, that's the other. I keep on hearing on this other podcast, they're kind of hurting right now for donations. So if you can, send them some money if you're listening to this.
Wait, who's hurting for Anti-War,
yeah, because, like, for some reason, they had some fines levied against them, and then they had a bunch of big donors die. I don't think like they were killed or anything; they just died. And then a bunch of people got scared off because it came out that the FBI was watching donations. But they accept Bitcoin. They like Bitcoin better than the credit card or PayPal stuff. So if you want, send them something.
Hey Tim, you know who else is hurting for donations?
Us?
Yeah. If anybody is interested, there are tipping addresses all over our website, and I would say I don't care which one you use, because I kind of don't, except I kind of do, because whichever one you tip, there's an address for each episode and each article, so that's actually kind of cool. You know, you can tell us which ones you like by tipping specific articles or episodes. So, you know, since we're talking about donations and stuff like that, I would encourage you to
send them all to my video reviews.
No, don't send them to Tim's video reviews, because those go straight to him. Send them to like an episode, because that gets split between us. Tim doesn't deserve tips.
I'm driving you here.
Well, I'm paying for the gas.
If we get a record, Monero and an API code. So we should have been like live streaming it, so then we could have said, like, if someone donates 50 Bitcoin, like a total of 50 Bitcoins, we'll crash the car on video. I just feel like a film. So, okay, guys, we got 50 euro.
Did you see all those videos of, like, Russian people crashing cars with video games?
Yeah, it's because everyone over there has a dash cam. What was that? the video I sent you like a long time ago, or not a long time, it was a few months ago, where just like this person just sees like this huge wreck in front of them, and then there's this fire that just starts popping up, and then the guy just like slowly backs up, and then there's just this explosion.
Yeah.
And then there's the other guys who go off the bridge, and then they're just like, oh, I'm going off the bridge. They're all like calm right after they did it. Oh, and we were listening to A Troop of Echoes, and if you go look them up, and you buy anything, tell them that you heard them from us, because they probably won't give us any money, but I don't know. Daniel had a house show last week there.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. A Troop of Echoes, the band, and they were in my living room. It was really awesome. So yeah, if you want to look them up on YouTube or find that show or anything, it was really cool. And John Stuart also performed, which you can find on YouTube. Actually, I linked to it in episode 25 in the notes for that. And the link that I put, we didn't actually broadcast the Troop of Echoes show, so that won't be in there. And then the other band, the audio was really bad just because it was too loud for my microphone. So really the only one worth watching, and the one that I linked to, is John Stuart. But yeah, definitely go for that and check it out.
Yeah, the Troop of Echoes, they're good dudes. So if you like them, then support them or whatever.
Definitely, and they're on tour as well, so you could maybe see if they're going to show up anywhere around you.
Yeah, we need the donations because Daniel forgot the Easy Pass.
Yeah.
So we need donation.
Wait, you have an Easy Pass?
Yeah. Well, no, what do you mean? That means Tim had to pay the toll, and I'm not reimbursing him, so...
Just shoot you in the kneecap, dude. Yeah, I'll shoot you over $12.
It's not my fault that Pennsylvania Turnpike doesn't accept Bitcoin. What am I supposed to do about that? I didn't know. I thought everybody accepted
You're supposed to ask them and spend 20 minutes explaining to the guy in the booth about what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, well, there's like 40 cars lined up behind us.
It was already taking long enough because apparently some people can't figure out change or something.
Yeah. Hey, actually, I'm just looking now. I did want to mention the keynote speaker, or one of the keynote speakers, is Patrick Byrne from Overstock.com. Now, I would imagine his talk is going to be similar to the one he gave in, what was it, Zurich or something? Or somewhere in Germany? Amsterdam, yeah.
Yeah, because it's about the Dutch and their influence on... Actually, I guess just the Dutch and free... Like, just the idea of liberty stuff, like free trade. I think that's what it was mostly about.
Okay, yeah, and I...
because it was the Dutch stuff, but then... Some of the Dutch people ended up going to Austria, and that's where the Austrian School of Economics comes from.
Yeah, he had some just really awesome thoughts on like philosophical ideas about Bitcoin and about trust and economics and things like that. So I'm definitely interested to hear him, and you know he's important as the CEO of Overstock.com, and which might still be one of the biggest companies that accepts it. I guess that makes him kind of a visionary. He knows what's coming and he's preparing for it, and that's really cool, I think. Anything else before we finish up?
No.
Alright, well anyway, thanks for joining us, and maybe we will have an update from... Sorry, Tim is a really bad driver and he gets road rage. We might have an update from the ride home in this very same episode, or maybe we'll have some chats with people that we meet there. We honestly have no idea what could be coming up in the next few minutes, or...
Our lives could change.
Yeah.
Or they could stay exactly the same. It's just
might not make it if Tim wrecks.
Yeah, maybe we'll be dead.
Okay, if this is road rage, like now it sounds worse, but I was whistling, my ears are getting out.
Oh, Tim also has very pressure-sensitive ears.
Yes, or something.
Anyway, if this is part of our next podcast, stay tuned. If we decide to randomly post this and this is the only part, then thanks for listening, and we will see you another time. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're listening to the You, Me, and BTC podcast. We need your help. First of all, we'd love it if you could check out our website, youmeandbtc.com. There you can find donation addresses for every single article and episode, and we'd love it if you could make use of those. We could also use some fans and followers, so if you're willing, please visit Facebook or Twitter.com/youmeandbtc. Lastly, remember to subscribe to the show. You can do that on iTunes or sign up on our website to receive email updates. Thanks for your support.
Okay, this is You, Me, and BTC. We are coming to you from the road again. This time we are on our way back from the Bitcoin Beltway conference. We had an awesome time. We want to thank our amazing sponsors once again. That's API Coin and Monero. They gave us a really awesome time. Tons of fun. Met all kinds of people. Made some cool connections. Thought it was awesome. Tim's frustrated. He doesn't know how to drive.
Every time I try to go past someone, the lane disappears. Ah, my ears again.
Tim also still has sensitive ears.
I think either it's that or it's because John opened up the windows a little bit ago and it was like that vibrating thing in the car.
Let's talk about, I guess, like, favorite thing in general. I feel like for me it's gonna be meeting people. That was like, we met Jason King the first night. He was the nicest guy ever. It was so cool to get to know him, and he was so good to us the whole time. Oh my gosh, the guys from FIBA Wallet, they might be my favorite. Holy cow, they were so good to us. Who else did we meet?
The first night?
Anytime, I don't know.
I mean, we met everyone. They had the networking thing. We met a bunch of people then. Which some of the people were like, okay, here's a card. Look at my thing. Other people were like, oh, yeah, that's cool, you're here. And
yeah,
they actually talked to us.
The first night was networking, and everybody was all prepared with their business cards, and we're like, we've never been to a conference before. Yeah, we didn't have cards, but that's all right.
We wore our T-shirts, which actually got a decent response from people.
Yeah, we decided to wear matching T-shirts, and so everyone was like, hey, you guys together? Do you do something? So I guess that was cool. And
some people scan the QR code, so I guess that's as good as a business card.
Yeah, exactly. And some people even took pictures, which I guess they would save for later, so that's nice. Well, I guess it's also worth saying hello to any new listeners that we might have from there. I mean, a lot of people heard about us, and if you're listening, we are extremely grateful. We'd love to have you. We hope you'll listen for a very long time. And I don't know, send us a tweet or an email. Just say hello, tell us that you're listening, and that would make our day.
I was going to say it was nice just to get Jason. Well, I mean, we also met Andreas, although we didn't really talk. I mean, we did an interview with him. We didn't talk to him too much outside of that.
We did interview him. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I said we did an interview with him. I guess it did sound like I say. We got an interview with him, it's just we didn't really have any conversations with him outside.
I talked to him about Creative Commons a little bit. That was pretty good, pretty interesting. I mean, he still did most of the talking, but it was pretty cool.
So our plan was basically, we got, I think, 7 or 8 pretty awesome interviews. I think we're going to release them sort of separately from the podcast. They're not going to be released on Thursdays like the normal podcast. We might just do one. We're going to keep each interview by itself. We don't want to combine them because we want to make it more accessible, more easier for people to find. You know, if they want to listen to Andreas, that we want that to be like right in the title. We want to have the interview by itself, so they don't have to sift through an hour's worth of audio to find where the Andreas interview was or anything like that. So we're going to do one episode or one interview at a time. and then we'll still do our normal episodes on Thursdays, probably with ourselves. So by the time you're hearing this, we might already have 1 or 2 interviews out. We'll just see how it goes. We hope you like them. We definitely want to know what you think. So yeah, leave us a tweet, like we said, or an email. Hook up on Facebook. Pretty much anything. Just let us know what you think of the interviews and stuff like that. Most of the interviews were what? They range from roughly 10 minutes to roughly 20 minutes.
Yeah, like Andreas's and Jeffrey Tucker's were probably the longest.
Yeah, I think Tucker's was the longest at around 20 minutes. We had a ton of fun with him. He's a real friendly guy, real smart, knows what he's talking about. One of our favorite questions was asking him about Disney and why he's such a huge fan of the song Let It Go from Frozen. So you definitely want to listen to that and see what he said. It's pretty cool. It was just interesting to see such an amazing and smart man. You know, a lot of people think Disney is for kids, but he loved it, and that's great.
I mean, probably the biggest thing I took from this is just how, like, I've heard people always talk about, I don't know why I'm doing hand motions again, but why, like, people would always say, like, how nice it is to go to, even if it's, I mean, just anything, not just Bitcoin, just anything really, the kind of community you feel, especially these smaller ones, and how nice it is to have a lot of people around you that kind of think the same way and kind of have the same ideas, which, I mean, you need to be around people who think differently, and so you don't always just have people going, oh yeah, your ideas are the greatest, you should go out and get them challenged. But with us, it's, I mean, most of the time it's like, okay, no one else really cares. Everyone else just thinks that I'm kind of stupid for having this digital money that they think is going to get hacked out of my computer. So that was definitely nice. That was refreshing to have it like that. It was, like I told John and Daniel earlier, I'm a lot happier than I sound right now. So
I think that's actually a pretty good segue into what we just were saying was one of the main things that got talked about quite a bit at the conference was how to, you know, we've had some kind of explosive growth in the past, but it's not enough. We need more growth. We still need to, as much growth as there's been, we still need to reach the masses. And that's kind of what you're saying. I mean, we know some awesome people online. We love you guys, all of our listeners. We love connecting with you, talking to you, working with you. But in person, we don't really know a ton of people who are so enthusiastic about Bitcoin and who understand it completely and who care about it and who want it to grow and expand. That we don't get a ton of that in person, and that's why it was great to go to this conference, because we had a chance to meet some like-minded people who had some similar values and visions and who were speaking the same language and knew what we were talking about. So we love to connect with those kind of people and hope to do so in the future. And but also, like I was saying, that's a point that was made quite a bit, is that we still need to reach the masses, and there's a lot of talk about how we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of chiming in with what you were just saying, everybody there seems to realize that, and they're really excited about doing it. Like, that might be what I took away the most from this. The excitement there was just infectious, like, especially with guys like, I mean, Jason King and, like, the Fever Wallet guys, like, they're just so charismatic. I don't know, you get the real impression that they realize, I don't know, like, Bitcoin is like this huge opportunity. You could think of it as like this amazing gift. And you could just be like, okay, yeah, that's cool, and just kind of, I don't know. But it's like they want to take it and spread it everywhere. I don't know. It was just really inspirational hearing some of the speakers, and their excitement and enthusiasm for everything was really infectious. It seems like we're primed for growth right now. Like everybody's everybody's really excited about it. I think I can say excited a couple more times.
Yeah, definitely and we got it in the interview. I had them repeat it, I think. But I guess what I was saying before, just like for anyone listening who's thinking about going to a conference, I mean, yeah, just go. I mean, it's fun, and like John's saying, it gets you to start doing stuff, and just that, or even like the FIFA guys especially, really pushed us to just, yeah. I mean, if you really want to get yourself out there, you need, because originally we tried to get Andreas on Twitter, and because there wasn't any response, was there?
Right.
No, yeah. So we weren't sure if we were going to do that. Originally, we had like Jason King and Jeffrey Tucker set up, and we were like, well, maybe we can grab a few other people, and they're just like, well, you got to go up to them. So, I mean, that was, we could have, obviously, you can always do better with who all you grab, but it was nice to have someone just go do it. I mean, if we don't do it, then it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, everyone's, especially at this, and I think it helped that we were young. This early in Bitcoin, they just love seeing young people there, which I thought there were going to be more young people there, but there weren't even that many there. It was a lot of like 30-year-olds, and then like they just saw younger guys, and they're like, "Oh, this is great, you're here." And but even people who weren't younger, the speakers and everyone just was very approachable. They weren't like, if you went up and talked to them, I'm sure we annoyed some people. Like, I grabbed Andreas when he was trying to go to the bathroom. But we had been trying to find him for like 2 days. But, I mean, he said, yeah, sure, I'll go talk. So, just go do it. I don't know.
Yeah. That was a little bit of a rant. But, yeah, I think what you're saying is just that it was so open, so casual, personal, friendly, whatever you want to call it. It was just so simple and easy. And there are all these really important, people who everyone looks up to, and we just, hey, what's up? What do you want to talk to us for a little bit? Sure, cool, let's talk. and that was amazing.
I think Tim was going to say this and he forgot to because he kind of went off, but the FIFA wall guys, I guess Leif came up with this.
Yeah.
Well, I think he heard it from somewhere else, but he says it all the time. The room is a great equalizer. If you're all in the same room with these people, there's nothing stopping you from talking to them. I mean, all those people, they're regular people too. They just got off their butts and did something. The only thing between you and them is you just have to go do it, and I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to lose, really.
Yeah, you definitely want to listen to our interview with those guys, because, like I said, they were probably some of my favorite people to talk to, and they have an amazing vision, amazing goals with their projects, and their presentation. I heard multiple people saying how the FIFA presentation was their favorite and how inspirational it was, and that's just awesome.
Well, I think one of the main ideas was just, besides just taking the broad mass, I mean, this was part of it, but just not focusing so much on the details of Bitcoin, like don't take it the other way and just like don't tell them anything about it, but more just be like, well, this is how it can help you, check it out, look at it, or like I liked the second to last talk we went to was a panel discussion about just Bitcoin and charity.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jason King, Andreas, and Davi Barker. And
Keyboards was like moderating, I guess.
And they said, this is kind of completely separate from what I just said, but just trying to get, like, with charity, if you're looking to get a charity to accept Bitcoin, tell them you have this money and be like, I've got this money to give you. All you have to do is just sign up with BitPay. I mean, BitPay does like a zero transaction stuff with like charities, or I don't know if it's like if they have to be 503 specifically listed, but it's really not that hard. And they made the point that people ask, well, how does it work? And it's like, well, you don't really know how the credit card works, but you still, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, as long as that you can show them you have the dollar there, they don't need to know how it works. And that, I mean, you take that too far, like I said, and it's like, oh, well, don't look at it. But most people don't want to look at that right now. So, I mean, just to get more people on it, to show, I mean, this works. You don't have to pay these huge transactions. You can give smaller transactions where like a credit card's not feasible. I guess this is going back to adoption, but
yeah, no, that's true, and I mean, yeah, that was a really cool point that we noticed and was important to a lot of people. And yeah, I heard multiple people saying how, you know, at the moment Bitcoin still has some usability issues. It's still a little complicated to use. Not because there's problems with it, not because it's broken. It's just, you know, it needs to be simplified and more usable.
Like idiot proof, I guess, would be.
Yeah.
So that it's less, we're less able to have like human error in it, where we send it to like a wrong address, or you put the number in the wrong decimal.
I guess some people would say we just have to increase the abstraction. We need to move from this really technical letters and numbers and QR codes, move from that to maybe just something more intuitive, I guess. I'm not saying we should change the core of Bitcoin. We should just add some simplification on top of it and things like that.
Just be an interface thing.
Yeah, maybe just some more useful interfaces. And that's what a lot of people are working on, like these wallets and stuff. I mean, it's not... Yeah, it's definitely getting easier. It's just, you know, that's something we can work on.
Well, yeah, that whole last talk was really about that, and they basically just said we need what like Google and Wikipedia and YouTube and stuff did for the internet. Like, nobody thinks about going to like IP addresses or anything like that. Nobody knows how internet protocols work, but everybody knows how to work Google.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really cool talk.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about like Ripple, and then just like their talk was called the Singularity of Currency, just where their vision of the future is one where you just have like you basically just have multiple currencies, and those are those trade pretty fluidly.
All right, and they said you would have like these smart wallets which handle, like they would choose which currency to trade in for you. You wouldn't, and they would make all kinds of decisions for you and see what will be most profitable for you and things like that. And I guess that's an example of that usability simplification. They would just do it. There's smart wallets that will handle all these currencies for you, and you don't even have to do any thinking, and you can really basically profit from it by using the right currencies at the right time and trading things that are useful to someone else for things that are more useful to you and things like that. It's just a lot simpler. Now, I'm sure they have a long way to go before that actually comes about, but that's a really cool concept.
Yeah, I think their whole thing was basically questioning why do we lose money when we're transferring currencies? Because there's not really value lost if you're just changing between two currencies, so why should you be at a loss just for switching? So I guess they're trying to get rid of that. I guess they called it exchange profit, which I think the profit was mostly just ease of use more than you're actually gonna like get rich off this.
Yeah,
like you're not actually making money off it. It's just profitable because people can trade things that are more valuable with each other. Like I don't know if I probably shouldn't go through the whole example, but they were talking about Canadian Tire and how like if somebody's moving from Canada, they're not going to be able to use Canadian Tires, so they trade somebody their Canadian Tire dollars for air miles or something like that.
Right, exactly. Just so people know what we're talking about, that talk was by Peter Piasecki. He's a really well-known moderator on the Bitcoin Reddit, and David Lowy, just so people know what we're talking about. But yeah, that was a really cool talk, and we almost thought about heading out, but I guess it was really worth sticking.
King convinced us to stay.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. So yeah, another cool thing was seeing people our own age too. Now we said a little bit ago how there are a lot of older people and they were excited to see us young people, but we weren't the only young people, and it was really, yeah, it was just nice to meet a lot of people who were a little bit younger like us and who were there for some similar reasons that we were, just general enthusiasts who were there to meet some awesome people and make some friends, find some like-minded people. That was just pretty nice, I guess.
It was also nice. I mean, I think there are a lot of areas in society and life, I guess, where young people kind of get shut out or get put down. I think that's changing a lot because we have all these huge internet companies that are started by college dropouts and stuff like that. But it was like, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't know what the best word for it is. Maybe like humbling or flattering or something like that. I guess flattering. Yeah, it was like flattering to hear people kind of tell us that, like, they almost think of us as kind of like the hope for Bitcoin, because, I mean, that's kind of how the internet got to where it is now because of the people who grew up in a world where it already existed. And just, I guess it's going to be the same way with Bitcoin. I mean, if somebody's like 70 years old and for the last 50 years they've been using regular bank accounts and stuff, it's like, why to go to Bitcoin now? They're not going to be the ones who are like changing everything over to these new digital currencies. It's going to be the people who grow up where they already exist.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's plenty of hope in the group of younger people for those reasons exactly. Speaking of dropouts, one of our favorite interviews too that is worth mentioning was with a girl. Her name was Alexis Iono. Works for BTC Jam, which is a Bitcoin kind of lending, peer-to-peer lending system. But yeah, she's, I think, 20 years old. She went to a year of college and just said, you know what, I'm gonna go get a job, and she has a really awesome job in Bitcoin. That's fantastic. We love to see that, and that's a perfect example of the hope that is out there. Now, I wouldn't necessarily encourage people to skip college or drop out of college. I think it's, for some people, it can be a good decision, but in a lot of cases, it's not. I don't, like, it can be a good decision, but I don't think it's as good of a decision as a lot of people say it is. I don't think you should just expect that that's what everyone does as soon as they're done with high school. If you can go out there and get a job like she did, that's amazing. That's perfect.
Kind of backtracking, I just want to say to qualify what I just said earlier. I don't think like that old people are dumb or that they suck, and I don't think that we're special, and I don't think that we're special because we're young. I don't know. It was just nice to see other people kind of have hopes for us, hopes and dreams for us young people.
Because, again, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but
no, but I want to say, well, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're about to say, but I think there's a lot of things that seem like they don't have anything to do with Bitcoin, like how there's hope in young people or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's not directly related to Bitcoin, but it's still important to a lot of people in the Bitcoin community. So, I mean, there's a pretty good connection there, and I think this is all still worth talking about, but go ahead.
I was just, like, a lot of the time, you always hear about, it's like everyone, like, all the kids these days are so lazy. And then there's a lot, I mean, that's not really warranted. And then there's a lot of doom and gloom. Like, even in, like, libertarian stuff, there's a lot of doom and gloom for this generation, or for any generation, us and the ones under us and the ones who haven't been born, just because of all the debt that we basically have to pay back. But, so, it was nice just to have, like, people like, oh, you're young, and it wasn't like, oh, you know nothing. Don't talk. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely like, it was almost like compared to it being a negative force, it was almost like a positive that we were younger, so people like more willing to talk to us. I think they looked at us as like pretty pretty good sources of evangelism for Bitcoin, I guess.
Yeah, and like the Bitcoin Bell,
Right.
we didn't really get to talk to her that much, but like she saw us in the hallway after her talk, which we didn't really know was going on because it was kind of this round circle sort of thing. But yeah, she passed us in the hallway and she's like, "I'm looking for people like you," and it was like, people like us. What does that mean? She's like, she's looking for young people to kind of spread this whole message. I mean, I think her focus is more on libertarianism and stuff, but obviously she was there for Bitcoin, and people call her the Bitcoin Bell. So yeah, I mean, yeah, people are just trying to encourage young people rather than tear them down, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking the same thing too about her, because she was saying stuff like that. Well, before we finish up for now, we were just talking today about the next big Bitcoin conference, at least in our area, is the North American Bitcoin Conference, the second annual North American Bitcoin Conference, which is in Chicago. Figured, hey, we had a ton of fun at this conference, met all kinds of awesome people. We want to see those people again. We want to meet more people, whether they're in charge of projects and things, or whether they're just general enthusiasts, people who love the community. We want to meet people, and we want to do this again because we absolutely loved it. So we're going to try, if we can, to make our way to the North American Conference in Chicago. So, but we need help. I mean, we can't afford it on our own. I mean, we have some jobs, but they're not going to cover a Bitcoin conference, every month. So we got some amazing sponsors for this conference that we just went to. That was API Coin and Monero. And we figured we'd just throw out there that we're looking for sponsors for another conference. So if you're interested, let us know. Or, you know what, even if you're not able to sponsor us like that, but if you just want to leave us a tip and support us a little bit, that would make our day. And it would help a ton. It's food in Washington, D.C. is not cheap.
No, it's not. Yeah, if you're in D.C., I'm sorry.
Go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm sorry, ping pong, but you're too expensive for way too little food.
Yeah, it was. We could go off on that whole story, and we might at some point. But let's finish up with Chicago. If you can't completely sponsor us, we would love if you could just leave a tip somewhere on our website. There's addresses everywhere. But if you or someone you know would be willing to sponsor us, please get in touch. My email is daniel@umeandbtc.com. We definitely need as much help as we can get. Yeah, if you have a product or a service, or, if you just want to help out some chumps
Just
like
rich
us.
and awesome.
Yeah, if you're just rich and the nicest people in the world, we'll take that too.
No, but I mean, maybe to give you, it's going to sound like I'm just kind of begging for money here, but like with everything we're just talking about, we need this whole community to grow. And I don't want to say that, like, if you give us all this money, we're going to make Bitcoin explode. But, I mean, you could think of this as trying to help the community grow. And that's what we're trying to do. So, I mean, maybe putting a little sponsorship over here could help.
Definitely. So, just to give people this is a really rough idea. We're still working on a budget. This could shift a little bit, but just a rough idea. We did some math and checked ticket prices and things like that. We are budgeting something like $1,500 for this next Chicago conference, if we can make it. That would be our budget, something like $1,500. So, yeah, if you can help us out at all with that, or it doesn't even have to all be one person. I mean, if you can do that, that's great. We would love that. But yeah, we can split it up like we did before too. We can split it 2 or 3 ways. So, or like we said, even smaller donations or tips or anything like that helps too. So, yeah, just, I guess, get in touch. And email again would be daniel@umeandptc.com. Yeah, well, thanks for riding in the car with us, I guess. And we will see you next time. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's going to be a little bit left in this episode. I guess we'll see.
Thanks for listening to episode 26. All of the music in today's show was from John Stuart. Remember to keep an eye out for those extra interviews that we'll be releasing over the next few days. And we'll see you next Thursday as well. Thanks for listening.